Okay, welcome to today's video. Today we'll go through some weights using a mat and hand weights. So anything you have is absolutely fine. We're going to be doing a lot of kneeling. So if you like, we have this lovely big plush thick mat here. If you don't have something as luxurious as this at home, you might want to use a pillow or a cushion or something similar just to look after your knees. So I want to let you know that these exercises are to help your knees, so you just have to make sure that you're comfortable. So to do that, something nice and soft underneath your knees so you can look after them. So in this position, it's quite a good way to target a couple of our intrinsic, deeper hip muscles without having to think about them, which I quite like. But what you do have to think about is we call this the tall kneeling position. Makes sense? That's half kneeling, so we're going to start off with tall kneeling, 2 knees down. So you're allowed to push your hips forward as far as you like, as long as you don't poke your ribs out, because then you're just letting go of your back, and I want you to be supporting your back, which is one of the roles of one of these muscles that we're working on. So you can push your hips forward as far as you like, just not relaxing your back, not sagging through your back and poking your belly out. So your ribs stay down, nice and long through your back, nice and tall. And then the first one we do, pretty exciting, some good old curls. So just up and down. You should get no pressure in your back when you're doing this. These exercises should be good for your back, good for your knees. If you have injuries, please just come in and we'll give you a specific program. But if you're not injured, these will help you to feel better. Doesn't matter how heavy the weights are, whatever you have is absolutely fine. Just coming up and down. So the next one we're going to work on, again, nice and simple, lifting and lowering the shoulders. Nice and slow and controlled. We aren't doing big circles, we're just going straight up and then back down again. Carry on with this one, but if you start to feel tightness in the sides of your neck, then you have to rest. We want to try to keep all of the stress for this one on top of your shoulders, not in your neck. It's nice and slow and controlled. Okay, that's enough for me. So then back to these ones, the good old curls. Nice and long through your back. Hips forward, up and down with the arms. And again, nice and slow and controlled. Just taking your time. If you need to rest, you rest. Then, when you're ready, back to our shrugs, slow and controlled, lifting up and down. You can just slowly keep going, trying to keep the tension in the muscles on top of your shoulders. And if you get tense in the sides of your neck, you have to relax and rest. Okay, we're going to do these one more time, so back to these ones. And I don't focus on how many you're doing because it will probably change each time depending on how you feel. And as we're doing this 3 times, I'd expect you to do probably more numbers in the second round, as the first one is your warm-up, second one you're ready to go, and the third one you might be a bit tired. So it's allowed to be flexible. And if you're given numbers as part of your program, it's more guidelines, something to work towards. And if you're achieving those numbers every time, then you probably need to make it harder, which we will happily do. So all we want is to get some muscle fatigue with good technique. When you're ready, last round of those shrugs. These muscles are really good for controlling your neck and shoulder posture. They take a little time to build up the strength in, but then they'll look after your shoulders and your neck, so it's an investment. All right. Next 2, I'm going to do some boxing. So I'll show you from side on. Same position, nice and tall. You're allowed to rotate through your shoulders. Trying to keep your hips forward, there should be no pressure on your back. Okay. And then a really tough one. I find it really tough. So you've got your hands up in front of you, elbows bent to 90 degrees, raising your arms out to the side. That's enough of those ones for me. So I'll show you the boxing again from the front. So you start with your hands in front of your chest, and you're reaching as far forwards as you can. All right. Next, my arm side. So back to the second one, my tough one. Raising the arms out to the side. Oh, my arm's getting pretty tired. That's the idea. Okay, back to hands in front of your shoulders. Last round of the boxing. Shaking it out in between. Last one of the raises out to the side. So hands in front of you, raising your elbows out to the side. Nice and controlled on the way down. Okay. Thankfully, that's it for me with those weights. We're going to do another one without the weights. So that same starting position, but all you're doing, this one's pretty cruisy. So sitting back, reaching your hips back, and then back up again. So what you're not doing is sitting back down towards your heels. You're just putting your hips down towards your heels and then coming back up again. Pretty simple. We're allowed an easy one. I want you to feel that you're using your hips to push you forward again. There's a couple of really key hip muscles that are really little, maybe the size of a little finger. So if you try to add too much weight and too much pressure, you'll just use different muscles. So you're allowed to do a more gentle exercise to look after the little muscles. These are called your baby hip, or the rotator cuff of your hip. Good muscles to look after. And because they're little, and we're not using much weight, they might take a little bit longer to get tired. That's okay. As I said, numbers aren't important. Just trying to listen to your body. Alright, one more. Next one's a bit of a tough one, but that's not to be unexpected after an easy one. So if you like, you can have your hands up in front of you and you're just leaning back as far as you can and then back up again. Doesn't matter how far back you lean, it can be a very little lean and then come back to the start, or it can be a bit further. You can have your hands wherever you like. You're just leaning back a little way, little pause, and then returning to the start. You should again have no pressure in your back because you're nice and long through your back. You're not allowed to arch your back because it doesn't feel very nice. So leaning back and then returning to the start. Controlling back and then coming back up again. So you should maintain a nice straight line from your knees to your shoulders. And when you've had enough, we go back to those little hip dips. So hips back and then back up again. So you're really trying to control this whole exercise through your hips. Feel like you're pushing your hips forward on the way back and controlling the way down through the back of your hips, not pulling yourself forwards through the front. Alright, back to the leaning back one. So if you've had enough of this one, you get to have a little rest. Just going to do one more. Okay, and then last round of the little hip dips. After all this time kneeling, you'll have to go out for a walk after this. Get some sunshine, wind and rain, a little bit of each. Last one of these. And now, last round, leaning back. Slow and controlled, only as far as feels comfortable. No pressure in your back. So these ones I find really creep up on you. So if you get to 3, you're feeling good, you get to 5 and you're done, that's fine. I'm just gonna do one more, last one. Okay, so let's just spend a little bit of time shaking out the knees after all of that kneeling. So good practice for the garden. Get you strong. It should be a really good little routine for your back if you listen to your body and don't go beyond where you're comfortable. You have to listen to your body. If you have any aches and niggles, then please come on in and see one of us. We'd love to look after you. All right, see you soon.